Welcome to another edition of 42 Straight Years In, Volume 2, Part 21. On the crackhead update, so far today I haven't seen any. I even went to Walmart, I didn't see any. But I was driving fast as hell, so they might have been around somewhere, hiding in the bushes somewhere. Y'all know what it is. Get your shanks out, and let's get ready to ride, y'all. Let's ride. I ran into my boy, Lying Willie. He done got him an old lady, and she lied just as good as he can lie. Not quite as good, but she's a lying scoundrel. I talked to her. She said, Lying Willie slapped me and told me to get out of him. He hit me upside the head so hard, I asked him what get out of mean. He told me to get out of all my clothes. Ever since then, I've been with him. He told me about he started to fight, he wanted to fight Mike Tyson back in the day, but Mike didn't want to have nothing to do with him. They got in a fight in a bar before, and he said he slapped Mike Tyson. And Mike Tyson wouldn't sign a contract to fight him. Well, the man never stopped lying. Now he got this woman lying. I gave him a ride to West Dallas. Boy, I couldn't wait to get him out of the car. They was telling some hell of a lies. He was telling about he was on the space shuttle, the one that exploded. He said he's the only survivor. The CIA sent him a check every month not to give up confidential information on who sabotaged the space shuttle. There's no lying in sight. This man here, he can go. I mean, he very creative with his lies. None sounds convincing. Anyway, on a more serious note, this segment is going to be about Jason Robinson. He was a juvenile, and he received an automatic sentence of life with the possibility of parole. And I wrote this guy a letter. I sent him an electronic email through JPay, letting him know that I was going to do this video in regards to his case. Earlier this year, Larry Robinson broke down in tears as he told the legislative committee of all the things that were considered when his son Jason was sentenced to automatic life with the possibility of parole. Nightmares about Larry's deployment during Operation Desert Storm, physical abuse from a relative, drug addiction, suicidal thoughts, and trip to 3 psychologists. The sentencing was the worst day. It's like the life just came out of me, Robinson said recently. I just kept blaming myself, saying that it was my fault. Jason Robinson was 16 when he and 2 other teens robbed the 19th hole pawn shop in Killeen, Texas in 1994. They restrained the clerk and duct taped his mouth before one teen stabbed him multiple times, including a blow that pierced his heart. The trio made off with 17 guns and the store's security videotape. The younger Robinson, who turned 40 in January, talked about poor decisions that led him to the moment in an interview at the Alfred D. Hughes unit in Gatesville. He remembered snorting lithium and said he went along that day of the robbery because his friends had marijuana. The clerk was 24, lanky and tall, with curly brown hair and a beloved white Camaro. He was taking computer science classes and was not supposed to work that morning. It doesn't seem real that you can make a decision that takes 5 minutes to make, and it can affect everyone's life, even 23 years later. Jason Robinson said, "I know sorry is not good enough, but I wish things were different." He never had a driver's license. He never been on a real date. He never walked across the stage to graduate, although he earned a GED and 2 college degrees while in prison. Parole data shows that less than 5% of juvenile offenders convicted of capital murder have received parole. But there's a very small number, I mean very small, out of over 1,000 guys. He has to serve 40 years to be eligible for parole. You know, back in 1985, the legislature wanted to pass a bill where you make your first parole upon the completion of a college degree. They surmised it showed rehabilitation and the ability to function and to make a contribution to society. I was in SEG when they was considered passing that law. Man, I was hoping like hell it passed. I know that was my ticket out of prison. At the time, I only had 2 college degrees myself. I had a bachelor's and I had a master's degree. I hadn't earned a doctorate yet. What do you think is the appropriate sentence for a juvenile who commits capital murder? The legislature had changed the laws recently as 2009. They changed it to a guy 17 and below can't receive life without parole. They can receive life with parole. Now, adults, if you convicted of capital murder and you 18 and above, you can receive life with no parole. If you found guilty at a capital trial, all the DA got to do is say the state is not seeking the death penalty. And by operational law in the state of Texas, you receive a mandatory life without parole. So you damn if you do, damn if you don't. Me, from spending all them years incarcerated, I wouldn't volunteer to go to death row. The purpose of life is to stay alive as long as possible. Anything might happen. You never know what the future holds for you. One day a tornado might hit the prison, knock one of the cell blocks down, tear the gun tower down, and there your escape is. Or you might come up with your hell of an escape plan because you got nothing to lose. I mean nothing. And in the very near future, the state of Texas is going to have to set aside some of those huge maximum security prisons as geriatric prisons. Because the prison population is going to start aging. These guys are not going nowhere. It's hard to get out of prison with a regular life sentence. Not only have you got to serve 40 years to be eligible, that just means you eligible. That don't mean you going nowhere. You know, people was telling me when I spoke on Lockdown 23-1 in the comments section, some people were saying, oh, the reason you was in prison because you wouldn't make paroles because you killed 2 guys. No, that wasn't the reason. Man, I got a little partner. I got a picture of him. I'll post. They call him Red Devil. This man had 5 murder cases in Texas prison, and he was paroled. They look at the nature of the crime, especially when you have trial officials telling them not to release this guy. They not so more or less worried about what you did in prison. It carry a little weight, but when you come on for parole, if you got all your good time, and you got your custody level, you completed all the parole requirements, the drug treatment, the counseling courses, you successfully completed all of that. Okay, you done did everything the parole board requires. Some guys, they tell them, hey, you got to go get a GED. Some of them, they tell you must go get a vocational trade. Guys still complete that, they still don't get released. Also in the state of Texas, The DA plays a role in whether you get released. Inside of your commitment papers is a form from the DA's office. It has 3 options on it. I recommend parole. One is I recommend this inmate do not be paroled. And the other one is I remain neutral. Now this is supposed to be confidential. They're never supposed to let an inmate see that. But I have ordered several court documents from guys down through the years, and I would see that paper inside, see that document inside of their commitment papers. You know, you're not supposed to see that, to know that the DA is actually telling the parole board not to give you parole. So it's a lot of factors to be considered before a guy can make parole. Disciplinary plays a role. But you wouldn't even be talking to the parole board if you wasn't eligible. If you line class 3, they don't even talk to you until you get all your good time back. They don't even talk to you. You know, some guys don't know how prison works. They'll say, well, you did this in prison. That's why you didn't make parole. And something else. At least this young guy, he's earned 2 college degrees already. I noticed a lot of the YouTubers and the guests and all, you know, none of them can say nothing positive they did in prison. They can tell you about all this old bullshit, gang bullshit, some of these stupid shit. I guarantee you, El Chapo would trade places right now with a homeless person. All the money he made in the drug business, he'll die in that Supermax up in Florence, Colorado. I guarantee you he would give all that up just to have another shot at having his freedom. And some guys live in this fantasy world. They don't know that all these guys end up doing a lot of time in prison or they get killed. None retires from being a drug lord or a member of a cartel or one of these stupid gangs. They don't retire from that, and they sure don't make no money. Fast as they make some money, the lawyers and the bondsmen take it right back from them. And the majority of them, when they get arrested, they get the money also. The money be in the same place where you're at. So they get your money. Now you screwed. Whoever inform on you, they tell them where the stash is at. They know if they get the money, they didn't cut the head off the snake. Ain't nothing you can do. You can't make bond. A bondman is not going to take an IOU. He wants some money right now. You know, guys be always mentioning the gang and all this shit. Here in Texas, they got them. Even with the ones locked up in AdSeg, they still got them in population. Not the STGs, but they got disruptive groups. And they not raising no hell. If they would be in AdSeg. Because they seg you fast in hell. Texas is not like other states where you get multiple chance to stab an inmate. You get 90 days in the hole and you get released. You stab one guy in Texas, you got indefinite administrative segregation. They will see you every 6 months to consider whether to release you. And I've known some guys who go to, y'all got to excuse me, my lights, my motion light, got to excuse that. It's going to be a blank spot in this video. I'm not going to redo it all over again. I've known some guys who go to SEG, get pissed off back there behind some petty stuff, throw some water on one of the guards. Now he got assault on an officer inside of AdSeg. You think he's going to get released? That's about another 4 or 5 years before they even consider releasing you. So it's easy to get in a trap back there because everybody can't handle being in that cell 23 hours a day. Or you on a cell block with guys you don't even get along with. They don't talk to you, won't give you books to read, don't share a commissary with you, won't do anything. Yeah, once in one video I spoke on, back in the day, we had an inmate welfare bag hung up in the day room for guys who were indigent and didn't have money. Okay, and say the gang members got the same thing. For gang members who do not have money, every commissary, whenever he needs stuff, he can get it, and he only got to pay it back when he receives money. Now, all those guys in SEG putting their life on the line, the homeboys on the outside are not looking out for them. I was back there with them. I done lived on an all cell block with Emmy. I done lived on a cell block with Texas Syndicate. I've lived on a cell block with Aryan Brotherhood. Those guys are not doing good. Some of them back there poor as hell. But your homeboys out here pushing all this hell of a dope. They not looking out for the guys on the inside. Why these guys is broke? And they can't spend but $85, but you out here making millions. You can't even send them a measly $85, and they the real foot soldiers. They the one gonna put in the work. You know, it's something to think about. You know, also, they don't make major moves. Now the ones back in SEG, the STGs, now if they never would have got locked up, Texas probably be just like California prison. It'd be fucked up. But those guys wasn't in population that long, so even though they had a lot of murders under their belt when they locked them all up, it was a war going on. But they didn't get to make no major changes. What they did is made it hard for everybody else. That was a good excuse Texas need not to institute changes. They said, hey, we got to spend all our money on stopping all these killings and stabbings. That was a good excuse they used. We would have had TVs in the cell. They already had plans. Because all the cells in Texas at the new prison is wired for cable. All you got to do is screw a cable on, you got instant fucking TV right there. But, you know, no inmates didn't benefit from the prison game. No benefits whatsoever. Now, only benefit I see, if you go to AdSeg, if you live on one of the gang cell blocks, you'll probably do your best time if you can get along with all them fucking gang members, because you're going to be surrounded by them. You're going to go to wreck with them. Well, you know, they have you separated, but you're going to go to wreck with them. Now, their wings is quiet. It's law and order over there. They got a 9 to 9 rule. Before 9 in the morning, you can't be hollering out of your cell. They don't allow you standing at the door while dudes in the day room masturbating on the female guard in the control tower. After 9 o'clock at night, you cannot be hollering and screaming out of your cell. They had rules. Now, if you live on a regular administrative segregation wing, man, it's war over there. Banging, beating, hollering all over at another cell block, cursing the guards, masturbating on the lady in the control picket. It's totally ignorant. So I didn't mind living on the wing with them. It's peace and quiet over there. Anyway, enough ranting and raving. Y'all get ready to ride at a moment's notice. Keep your shanks together. And guys been asking me about this poster in the background. That is not made out of cardboard. That is canvas. And it cost me a pretty penny to get that made. That is not cardboard. Probably about what I would charge, and I got to ship it to you. It probably be so expensive that you wouldn't even want to purchase. And I sure wouldn't go have one made with my money, waiting on somebody to buy it, and I'm stuck with out of $300 or $400. Now, it don't work that way. Y'all have a good day. Like and subscribe, and I thank you for watching.